Dave Wheeler is going to speak about the path to professional speaking. Dave, I've known Dave for quite some time. We started at WestCon Toastmasters years back, and Dave went on to become a district governor here within District 53. And he has served on and off as president of the Emerging Speech Masters Advanced Toastmasters Club. Please welcome Dave Wheeler. Dave?
Thank you, Carmine. The path to professional speaking. Who's interested in professional speaking? Oh, that's a good number. I was going to go after that. I was going to say, well, who might be interested? So you're all interested. Well, I guess I got the right audience then. What I'd like to do is answer your questions about the path to professional speaking. Hopefully everything that I rehearsed will answer your questions. But let's start with a question. And that way, I know you get what you want from the speech, from this meeting. So, first question. Carmine.
Where do we start?
Okay, start. Who else? Oscar.
How do we go about getting clients?
Let's see, get clients. I'm actually going to say clients/gigs. That's a technical speaker term. Marge.
Why can it make a difference?
Okay.
Or how can it?
Define
Hold
professional
on.
speaking.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. No, I was going to say,
Yeah.
how do you define or focus your message?
Ah, okay. On the video, I'll speed that writing up. Paul.
Define professional speaking.
Okay. What is it? I'm abbreviating. Anybody else? This is plenty, but anybody else has a burning question? I want to make sure.
Common mistakes or pitfalls for
That's pitfalls. It's a good one. Yes.
How much or maybe when do you start charging?
Oh, okay. When dollars, and then when big dollars.
How does the social media impact?
Okay. Social media. Okay. Okay, I don't have any more room, so I hope you're done. Let's start where? Getting started. Now, there's three things that a professional speaker needs. And this hopefully will make sense. You need a speech. You need some skills. Actually, that's skills up here. You need an audience. And the third thing is, anybody have an idea what it might be? Speech, audience. No, that's actually that's under here. We'll actually and message. Okay.
And you?
What's that?
And you?
That could be down here. You're filling out. You're making all my points for me. Thanks. What's that?
Confidence.
That's probably here. Anybody else? The third thing? Okay. Let me give you a hint. This is our goal. Everybody see that?
Money,
Yes.
dollar.
We're talking about a professional speaker. Okay? So this is our goal. What is
Reputation.
you're getting very warm. Reputation might be over here though. Okay. And I'll give you a hint. This is what I do for a living.
Marketing.
PR, marketing?
Yeah. Yeah. So marketing. because you have a fabulous speech, the best skills in the world, and you know who your audience is. It's like the mousetrap. You have the best mousetrap in the world, but if nobody knows about it, nobody's going to beat a path to your door. So this is the third part. And we'll see, as I explain a little bit more about each of these three things, how it fits in, and then we'll also talk about starting in the progression. That make sense? Okay. In terms of speech, the message is, and actually all of your speech as a professional speaker is actually very personal to you, because, well, number one, a lot of your stories are probably personal stories, but also because you need to have something that resonates, something that is particular to you. And the way I always say is it has to be different. And that's in all caps for a reason. Because if you're, for example, and I know a lot of speakers talk about leadership or change management or motivation even. All of those things are what I call motherhood and apple pie. They're great. We love them. But it doesn't set you apart. It doesn't make you stand out. Jack Welch, the CEO of GE, used to talk about getting out of the pile, and setting himself apart from everybody else. And again, unless you're different, your speech, it becomes a commodity. How do commodities compete? On price. And essentially, if you're a commodity, your odds are you're probably not going to make a lot of money as a professional speaker, to be perfectly honest. Okay? The one, and I don't want to even call it an exception, is, the example is Les Brown. Who knows who Les Brown is? A few people.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, he is a pure motivational speaker. But he is different. Well, number one, his stories are delivered very well. But it's also, he is what I would consider probably the best motivational speaker. So if you're going to do a topic that's motherhood and apple pie, try for the best. Because best is always different just by the nature. It's not easy, but it is different. So that is a very important key. Obviously, I mean, the skills, a lot of the things you can learn in Toastmasters, to start on Carmine's question, is a great place to start for a professional speaker, because there's a lot of skills you need to be able to deliver a professional speech. Now, the next part, the audience, what does that mean? What it means is it's your, and actually I probably should add a word onto it, your target audience. Because if you're different in some way, that difference better matter to your target audience. In addition to that, you ought to know as much as you can about that target audience. What they do, where they shop, what associations they're members of. There's a lot of things that you need to know about your target audience. This will also, as you start becoming a professional speaker, they'll start giving you hints in terms of how you get in front of that audience. If you know that they are in a particular association and they have 2 conferences every year, well, where might you want to think about trying to weasel a way into a conference? In front of your target audience. Now, as you get started, probably some of your speeches are going to be free. You don't necessarily start out, unless you're Barack Obama retiring, you don't start off at the multi-thousand level. But again, doing free speeches, especially if they're for your target audience, is a very good thing, because you're getting feedback on your speech. You're also connecting with, so that one person tells another person that's in that same target audience, and you're growing your target audience, or at least your presence within that target audience. So those are the speech, the audience, the marketing, The marketing part of it is, and there's actually a bunch of things that go under this, but let me ask you the question, and you probably already know the answer. Some of you do. If you wanted to hire a speaker, what would you, at a very minimum, what would you expect from them? Bailey?
Some type of certification?
Okay, I'll put this up here.
Oh, you mean of their marketing? What would I?
Yeah.
A LinkedIn page.
Okay. Social media.
A one sheet?
One sheet. Website. And there's one other critical piece.
References.
That's a good one, but
Testimony.
that's like the fourth. It's really close. References, testimonials. What's that? The third thing. If you're the person hiring a speaker, and let's say you got their one sheet, maybe they mailed it to you, and you went to their website. What else, before you hired them, would you want to see?
Oh,
Put samples of their work.
Samples,
them in action.
action.
YouTube.
Yep, a demo video. Those are the three kind of as a baseline. A lot of these other things are very good, and they're nice to have. Nowadays, those three things are the critical marketing pieces. And again, there's way more things in terms of marketing, and there's ways to tie in marketing to your audience, to show different skills. There's a lot more to it, but I only have so much time today. So that is kind of just an overview in terms of starting in professional speaking. Does that make sense? Let's see what other questions we had, just real quick. How do you get clients gigs? We'll talk about that. How do you make a difference? Focus your message. Okay, I think I talked about focusing your message. Again, you want to be different, and again, focusing your message helps so that you're not rambling. It has more power. Actually, focus your message is probably a good catchphrase. Who said that? Okay, I'm going to steal that just so you know. That's good. So, but how do you get clients and gigs? Let's take the next step after you've started, and let's say you've got most of these things in place or under development. I would suggest probably down here in your target audience. And where do you find them? And to be perfect, I can't answer that question always because we talked about it a little bit, associations maybe. But again, when you know your target audience, you have an idea where they might hang out. If it's, I don't know, maybe they all hang out at Starbucks, so you got to go to Starbucks and put a milk crate down and start talking. I don't know. But wherever your target audience is, that's where you want to get in front of them. There's a lady speaker that is from Danbury, and she was that close to coming and being our speaker. So you got me instead of her. But she is releasing a book called 50 Gigs in 50 Weeks. And essentially, she was in a networking group, and they challenged her, or actually one person challenged her to create 50 speaking gigs in 50 weeks. And she, at first, again, she would speak anywhere as long as she was speaking to her target audience. Doesn't matter whether it's free or paid or whatever. And what she found was, as she started, again, it was kind of a compressed effort. She actually found that she started to gather momentum. And after she said about 20 speaking gigs of reaching out and tracking down and grabbing people by the collar so that, I want to speak. Eventually, people started calling her. And again, she had these things going for her already. So that's an important part of it. So, where do they come from? Well, that's your audience. That's where you have to reach out. Again, and that's where marketing comes in. That's quick commercial. That's my stuff. So, let's see. What else we got here? Client's gig, make a difference. Did we cover what is professional speaking?
No.
No. Well, let's talk about that real quickly. Carmine, do you have $1?
I don't know tonight.
Anybody?
I do either.
I actually have 2, and
Just
that's
one.
it.
Okay. See, when you're paid to speak, that's professional speaking. Whether it's $1 or $10,000, essentially that is professional speaking. Do professional speakers also speak for free? Yeah. Do you mostly speak for free when you start? Yeah. But what you want to do as your speech becomes better and better, and your skills become better and better, and your message becomes stronger, you get paid more, because your people want to hear that. They want to hear that speech. Any other? Did I cover what professional speaking is? What it is? I'm getting kind of yes, no's. Okay. Well, the guy that asked it said yes, so. Let's see. Pitfalls in social media. Actually, I think we briefly touched on that, but I think I'm going to leave that for another speech. So come to the next Toastmaster meeting. In terms of pitfalls, actually I'm going to wait on this, and I'm going to ask some questions to our guest professional speaker that we will have next. I'll ask him some questions if he doesn't talk about some of the pitfalls. How do you make a difference? Did you ask that, Marge?
I did.
How do you make a difference? Let me ask you, how do you make a difference as a professional speaker? Oscar?
Either you bring something that's truly new, or you help remind people of something perhaps they already know, but remind them in a way that gives them a call to action.
Mm-hmm. Actually, the call to action is a very important part of any speech, but especially if you're a professional speaker, you want somebody to do something. But, so you've got that, but how do you make a difference?
Change the way people think.
Yeah.
So you talk about topics that people hush off and say,
Change their mind.
I'm interested in more. Or new topic.
Um,
I would add connecting.
Connect. Okay. I think all those are valuable.
Well, I would just say provide value so that when the people leave, they'll felt it was worthwhile listening to you.
Yep. Yeah, that's very, very important. One of the who's seen online the TED Talks or TEDx Talks? If you haven't seen them, it's the kind of the tagline for them are ideas worth spreading, and they're about all kinds of different areas. I mean, there's almost really no limit on the various areas that they could involve. But if you watch a few of these, that will some of the ideas. And again, these aren't always professional speakers either, but a lot of them can make a difference. Or a lot of people that are speaking, their story is about how they made a difference. And again, speaking is one of the best ways to make a difference, because when you're talking to someone, a difference is in your audience. So if you can convince your audience, engage your audience, connect with your audience, that will make a difference. So I think I've got most things covered. Obviously, I can't cover everything in every detail. And as we talked about, there's a lot that goes into this part. There's a lot that goes into this and this. But I hope what this is a brief overview that gives you an idea of what professional speaking involves. We're also going to introduce our professional speaker du jour, who will tell us a little bit about his journey, and I think you'll hear a lot more kind of depth in terms of what goes into all of this. Some of the things maybe he did differently than you might do, but it's going to be exciting. So, if you want, I'll just bring him right on up, and I'll start by introducing our professional speaker for the night. Well, actually, he is the professional speaker. And I'll leave it up to him in terms of if he wants to tell you how much he makes per speech, but I know it's substantial. He started as a Toastmaster. Matter of fact, I think I evaluated his first Toastmaster speech. I think I called him Troy instead of Croy. And if we had video of that first speech, that would probably be
Thankfully, we don't.
that would be very encouraging to all of you, as would my speech. But we all start out in Toastmasters with our icebreaker, and we progress from there. How far? Well, Croy's going to be a good example to see how far you can take Toastmasters. And I'll let him. I won't give too much of an intro. I'll let him just explain his journey to professional speaking. With that, I'll turn over Mr. Croy Sather.